Hello everyone! Today, as you can see, I'm in a different room than I'm normally in, and you might also be hearing some noises, and that's because I'm in the room that my current foster is in. So you'll want to stay tuned because I'm planning on giving an update on him at some point during this video. Today we're going to be talking about catnip and its effects on cats, so if you want to hear all about that, stay tuned. Catnip is an herb belonging to the mint family, and catnip is what we call it, but it actually has a different name scientifically, and that is Nepeta cateria. The reason we call it catnip obviously is because of how it affects cats and makes them kind of go crazy, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. Catnip has been used for a long time for medicinal purposes and also for use in cooking. In the 18th century, settlers brought it to America because they did like to use it in cooking, and that's how it got here. Catnip also is known to get rid of bugs like mosquitoes, and there are even cases recorded of people using it for its effects, either the calming effects or to make them more aggressive in the case of some boxers that I read about. We're going to go ahead and do an update on Max right now because he is playing and biting me. Max is getting really big and he just had his vaccines, I think it was yesterday, and his surgery is scheduled for Monday. I'm not sure how long I will have him after his surgery, but you can stay tuned on my Instagram to hear more about that. Also, while we're talking about updates, I wanted to mention that you might be seeing these videos looking a little different. I've been trying out some different editors, some of which will have a watermark, so I know it doesn't look great, but I don't want to pay full price for something before I know how it really works in use. If you notice me looking away from the camera, that's because I have notes. This video is going to get a little bit scientific and I can't remember all that, so that's why. So there's a chemical in catnip that I'm not going to try to pronounce, but I'll put it on the screen, and that is what causes cats to react to catnip. When inhaled, that chemical travels into the nose, obviously, and it attaches to some receptors. That causes it to stimulate the sensory neurons leading to the brain. There are a few different areas of the brain that are affected by this, but the one that we're going to talk about right now is the hypothalamus, because that is what regulates the cat's emotions. The response to catnip in a cat kind of depends on the parents. It's an inherited trait. The response is a dominant trait, so if one or both of the kitten's parents react to catnip strongly, the kitten probably will too when it gets older. So when a cat has catnip, you probably already know, but they go kind of crazy. They'll roll in the catnip, they'll run around the house, they'll run into things sometimes. Sometimes it makes them a little bit aggressive as well. However, in other cats, it has the opposite effect. It calms them down and it helps with anxiety sometimes and all of that stuff. Sometimes a cat will be affected both ways. An aggressive period will be followed by a calm period. Generally, the effect of catnip will last for about 15 minutes. And once that is up, then the cat won't respond to the catnip again for like 2 hours or so. So is catnip harmful to a cat? Well, if the cat has a lot of catnip, more than it should, they could get an upset stomach or other symptoms like that. But it's pretty rare for that to happen because most cats are good at regulating their consumption of this. Cats are pretty smart. I wouldn't really worry too much about this, but if you do notice your cat is having an upset stomach after having catnip, you might want to regulate it a little bit more or take it away entirely. I'm not going to get too into this next topic because it could probably be a whole video on its own and probably not for my channel, but some people don't feel comfortable giving catnip to their cat because of its drug-like effect. The best solution for answering this question is to talk to a professional like your vet about it, and also to observe your cat when it has catnip. Some cats are affected by it in a stronger way than others, so it might be dangerous for your specific cat to have it if they're going to be harming themselves while under the effect of catnip. As always, the best thing to do is to do your own research and to ask a professional. If you do decide not to give your cat catnip, your cat's not missing out on anything. It doesn't know the difference. It could get just as much enjoyment out of a treat that doesn't cause it to run around like crazy. This is something you may not know, but all cats are not affected by catnip. Actually, only about half or 2/3 of cats will be affected by catnip during their lifetime. First of all, obviously they might just not have that trait that causes them to be affected, but also the younger a kitten is, the less likely they are to be affected. For example, even though Max looks like he has just had catnip, he hasn't, and he wouldn't be affected by it if I did give it to him. And that's probably for the best, because if you have been around kittens, you know that they don't need anything else to make them any more hyper. I actually just learned this while researching this video, but as cats get older, they might stop having a response to catnip in the case of a senior cat. But 2/3 or half of cats will generally begin reacting to catnip between 3 and 6 months old and react to it throughout their adult life. While I was on vacation, I had someone stop in and check on my cat every so often. I left them some treats to give her if they needed to distract her while trying to get out the door. And they were catnip flavored treats, but I didn't think anything of it because Arwen hadn't really reacted to them in the past, and I wasn't sure why, but I got a phone call from them and they said, "We're not giving Arwen these treats anymore." And apparently while I was gone, she began reacting to the catnip. She was about 4 months old at that time, and I guess she just went absolutely insane, and it was something they didn't really want to deal with. When I got home, I gave her some of these treats, and it was crazy. She ran around, she was running into things, she was tearing stuff up. So you always want to make sure that you are supervising your cat or cats if they have catnip, especially if they haven't really had it before, just to make sure they're not going to hurt themselves by, like I said, running into things or knocking things over, breaking things. So that is all for this video. Don't forget to leave me a comment. This time I want you to tell me how your cat reacts to catnip, or what was the most interesting thing you learned from today's video. Like I've been mentioning, we're trying to reach 60 subscribers in the month of August, and if that happens, I will be doing a giveaway. You can also let me know what kind of things you would like me to consider for the giveaway, because I haven't collected those items yet. But make sure you subscribe and watch my videos all the way through, and that really helps me out. One of the videos I'm planning to do in the future is a video about things I bought at the dollar store for my cats. So if you would like to hear about that, stay tuned. There are several things that you can get at the Dollar Tree to take care of your cats, and I'm going to be going over if they're worth it, what my cats and foster kittens think of them. Max is absolutely destroying my hands.